Hey everybody, so video is for the hints for screens 9 through 11 on Match My Line. So at this point, you've watched the video or you're already confident on how to use y equals mx plus b to find the slope of a line and find the y-intercept and use it to write the equation. Like just for example, if we're on this line here and we want to make the one that goes through this point, this blue point out here and the black point here, I'm looking at these points and I know that the y-intercept is going to be -2, so I can already put in the -2. And then I look at how far over and how far down it goes. So the change in y goes from 3 down to -2. That's down 3, 4, 5. And the change in x goes from -4 to 0. So that goes +4. So my slope is going to be going down 5 over 4, 5/4 every time, or down 5 for every 4 goes over, times x. And if I check my work, it should go straight through both of those points. It doesn't really matter whether the y-intercept is in the front or if it's behind, we'll still get the same line. What matters is that the slope is multiplied by the x, and that the y-intercept and what you get from the slope times the x is added together. And that if it was going down, it would be a negative. Okay, so we know these things. It's something that you probably already knew was going to happen, but let's talk about what to do next. So then screen 9 starts to get a little interesting. This is what, challenge 5, I think? So taking a look at the equation, this looks a little different than what we know before. You might want to just take a moment and look at it. Like +8 looks like it should be the y-intercept, but then it doesn't go through 0, 8. It's over here at 1, 8. And I wonder if just looking at this point here and this part of the equation here, you can see how it made it go not through the 8 on the y-intercept, but 8 over at 1. Like 1 is going to act like 0 used to be here. So if we replaced a 1 in here for x, 1 minus 1, what would that make? That would be like putting in 0 for x before, right? So this is called point slope form of a line. So it still has a slope. Can you tell what the slope is already just looking at this? It's changing, going up 3 over 2. And we can see that in the line that's currently up here, like goes from 1, 8 and it goes up 3 over 2 to what? 3, 11? Or it goes back 2, down 3 to get to these lattice points here. So it's following that slope of 3 halves. And I kind of like it going through this point because this is one of my target points I definitely wanted to go through, right? So rather than changing, I don't want to change this part because that's making it go through 1, 8. I want to change just the slope, so I need it to go down. So it's got to be a negative. And then I also, that's still not the exact right steepness. So let me put the negative out in front. It doesn't matter, same difference. And you can sort of play around with that and see what will change or not change the line. So going from this point to this point here, what does my slope need to be? Well, my change in y goes from 8 to 4, so it's going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. And then my change in x is going over 5, so it should go down 4 over 5. Bam. Now the slope works. It's going down 4 over 5 throughout the line, and it still goes through my target point of 1, 8. You could do the same thing. You could change this around, and wherever there was a 1, you could have put in a 6, and wherever there was an 8, you could put in a 4. Like put a 6 here and put a 4 here, and it would still work. Like try this out. Oops. Well, same line. Now it's just going through this target point of 6, 4. So this point slope format is very much like, this is our slope intercept where you have the slope times the x plus the y-intercept. If you want to go to a different point that's not the y-intercept, it's a different target point, then you use the x and y of that point, and you have to subtract the x value off of the x, and you put the y in over here, and you're still trying to find the slope of the line. You just have an x and a y for a target point that you want to go through. So it's very much like the y-intercept, but you've got to adjust it so that that new x will act like 0 when it gets multiplied by the slope. Once again, there I can leave hints on Desmos. There's one more that's about like this intercepts form, which honestly I didn't know until I did this activity a couple of years ago. I was like, that's interesting. It totally works. I'd be happy to give you hints on that one too. Now I can actually, as long as you log in with Google, I can leave comments. I can leave comments anyway, but you can actually like log back in and see what I wrote. Or if you're doing it at the same time that I'm like looking at what you're doing, I can like literally give you hints as you go. So my plan is to leave this up and have you guys try out some of the stuff that I give you with the hints. And then tomorrow I'm going to post, or maybe late tonight, I'll post one more activity. All right. See you all later and have a good rest of your day.